Why am I so shiny? Hello everybody. Okay, so the sun is shining. I am sweating a little bit. We haven't set up the AC in the apartment yet, so it's a little bit hot in here. Today I want to come on here and talk a little bit about how to authenticate Louis Vuitton handbags. I've got a few years of experience in this now, and now more than ever there's really like a lot of scammers out there. I feel like even if you're talking in terms of like replicas and whatnot, there's so many like super fakes out there, and it's just hard to really distinguish between what's real and what's not. And you know, when it's obvious, it's obvious. What I want to like warn you about is the ones where it's not so obvious, especially to like an untrained eye. I've heard a lot of stories, so I just thought I could share some of the tips that I've learned with you that you don't even see online. So if you're interested in that, keep on watching. I'm going to make this like a 4-part series. We'll see. It's definitely going to be a little series because I don't want to make like a half-hour long video today. I know nobody has time for that, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Today we're going to talk a little bit about date codes. This is something that I've heard Louis Vuitton is actually phasing out, and they're going to do like a microchip or something, which is kind of scary. I don't like that. But since we mostly work with vintage handbags anyways, we're still going to be sticking to the date codes, and it's going to be the first red flag. So if it's not authentic, this is where you're going to catch it right away. So I'll explain to you a little bit more about what exactly the date code is in the first place. What you're going to usually see is 2 letters, so it could be MI, VI, there's like 1,000, well, not that many, but there's a bunch. So you're going to see 2 letters, and that just represents the factory location. So that's where the item was made, and you can pin that right down to the country, the location, everything. So they all are accounted for. The next thing you'll see are anywhere from 3 to 4 digits following that. That represents either the month and the year that it was made, or the week and the year that it was made. They did change this at some point, and I explain a little bit further into that on the Louis Vuitton Authentication Survival guide. So you can find that on our website. I will link it in the description below. Check that out because it has a ton of great information that you're not going to see anywhere else. And you know, you can't just rely on the date code. You always have to look at, you know, the stitching, the heat stamp, the make of the leather. Just there's so many other things you have to consider as well, but this just tends to be the first and biggest giveaway. It's just good to keep in mind as well. You don't really hear that all the time, and it's just something you should keep in the back of your head, especially if you're, you know, shopping online, shopping pre-loved, which good for you, you should be. So that's a good one. Another thing I've been seeing a lot recently is people are using this website called the Date Code Calculator, and there's nothing like too wrong with this. It's a little bit of a gray area. What people will do is they'll type in the date code exactly as they see it. It'll tell you whether it's an authentic date code or if it's not. So the issue with that, date codes are posted everywhere online these days. And so it's really easy for like these manufacturers to kind of just replicate that, and they'll just throw it in any old bag. It could be an authentic date code, but that doesn't mean it's an authentic bag, if that makes sense. You can never rely on the date code exclusively, and you definitely can't rely on those kind of websites, because at the end of the day, they're not looking at the stitching, they're not looking at the pattern, the materials, everything, you know. There's so many other things that you also always have to consider. So just be kind of weary of that. And I've seen a lot of shops actually giving them out as like proof of authenticity too, and that is not proof, and you should probably get your own certificate or something like that just for your own peace of mind too, because like I said, that's just not how you authenticate a bag, and it is definitely not proof of authenticity. Every single bag will also feature something called a heat stamp. So that's where it's going to say Louis Vuitton, made in France, made in Spain, wherever. So the date code always needs to match where it says it's made. So that's going to be one of the first red flags that you'll see. You might see letters representing Spain, and then it says made in France. So Louis Vuitton, like, they're not gonna make that mistake. That's gonna be a huge, all those siren alarms, whatever you want to call it, they should be going off in your head, because that doesn't make sense, that's not right. So that's one thing to really look out for. Another thing that has been kind of debated over the years, but overall I found it to be true. There is a factory, which I did bring up earlier, so it's represented by VI. I don't know why I just wrote that. I feel like I'm on Disney now. So it's called the VI factory, and that was actually shut down in 2011. So if you see anything that has VI and then the year of make is like 2015, it's fake, because that factory was shut down. They weren't making any more bags unless they've reopened since, not that I've heard of. So every time I've seen that come up, the bag has ended up being a replica, so just watch out for that as well. It's another little tip to keep in your noggin. I'm going to go ahead and actually show you a few different date codes from the bags that I have over here. That way you just get an idea of like what they actually look like, all the different numbers you could see, the different factory locations, because I feel like showing is always better than telling. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, we'll take a look and I'll break down a couple for you, just live action. What am I trying to say? I'll explain them to you on the spot, and that way you just have a better idea. And don't forget to check out our guide on our website, because it really does take a much deeper dive at what everything means, and it's interesting learning about the history of these as well. I think you guys would love that, but let's dive in. That's it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give us a like, show some love. Like I said before, I am hoping to make this into a little series. So I know we talked about the date codes today, but like I said before, you can't rely on just that one thing, because there's so many different things that you have to, oh no, my camera's falling, 1 second. There's so many different things that you have to keep in mind, because every bag's different, and you know, these manufacturers who are making all these like super fakes, getting pretty good at it, so it's up to us to stay on top of it, and I just do my best to look out for the community. Make sure you check out our authentication guide that is linked down below. It has so much more information, and we do have a few different articles on our website, so I'd love if you check those out. And other than that, hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy some sunshine, and you know, stay safe in the pre-loved market. Bye!